Have you ever wondered how modern websites are built with stunning animation, smooth transition, and lightning fast performance? Here is a fun fact: 88% of the users are less likely to return on a website just because of poor performance. But don't worry, I am here to make sure your project won't fall into that category. So, in today's video, we will be creating this amazing looking portfolio. You will discover how to use typing effects to create dynamic text animation, the power of React suspense and lazy image loading with blur hash for incredible speed and efficiency. We are also going to evaluate your visuals with framer motion animations, build a responsive layout using Tailwind CSS, create an interactive project filter to showcase your projects like a pro, and finally, we will deploy this website on Netlify. By the end of this video, you will have all the tools to create websites that not only look stunning but also deliver a seamless user experience. So grab a coffee, open your code editor, and let's get started. First, create a folder and open this folder with Visual Studio Code. Now press Ctrl plus backtick to open the terminal. Now write npm create Vite latest. Write a project name React Portfolio. Choose a framework and choose JavaScript. Now write cd and drag this folder and paste it in your terminal. Now write npm install I. Now write npm run dev. Now copy this link and paste it in Google Chrome. As you can see, we have successfully installed Vite in our project. Now let's integrate Tailwind CSS in our project. Navigate to the Tailwind CSS website. Click on Get Started. And now click on Framework Guide. Choose a Vite. As we have already installed Vite in our project, so we don't need this code. Just copy this and paste it in your terminal. Open the terminal, write cd and drag this folder and paste it in your terminal. Now paste this command. Now copy this and paste it here. Make sure the Tailwind config.js is created. Now just copy this code and paste it in your Tailwind config.js file. Save. Now copy this and paste it in index.css. Just remove this code. Now just write npm and dev, copy this link and paste it here. Let's remove this. Let's check whether the Tailwind CSS is working or not. Come in app.js x, give the class name. Now write margin top, 10 em. Now let's give background color black. Save this. Yes, it's working properly. Now let's install some packages that we will use later on for this project. Come into a terminal. Write cd, drag this folder and paste it in your terminal. Now paste this command. To make things easy, I have included the installation command in the description below. So feel free to copy and paste it. If you want more information on any of these libraries, you can check out my GitHub profile and look for the important .txt file. I have defined each of them in detail. So, but don't worry, we will go over each library when we actually use it later in the project. Now let's press enter. We will be using these libraries for things like animation, icons, and the routing between different pages, even creating a fun type writer effect. So let's close this. Now that we have installed our libraries, let's move on to setting up routing in our app. If you are a complete beginner, don't worry, I will explain everything step by step. In React, routing is how we navigate between different pages or the component in our application. For that, we use library called react-router.com that we have already installed, as you can see here. So it gives us tools like browser router, routes, and the route, which allow us to map URLs to specific component. First, I will be creating the structure, then I will explain each and everything. Let's begin. Let's remove this. Remove this logo and SVG. Browser router wraps your entire application and enable routing and decide which page or the component to display. Without the browser router, the app won't be able to render different component based on the current path, so the entire app will behave as a single page application. So now routes, this component act as a container for all your different routes. Think of it as a switch that hold all the pages of your app and chooses the right one to display based on the current URL. In summary, without the routes, the app can't display different content based on the URL path. So if you don't use both of these, you won't be able to navigate to different pages. Now let's create the home page. First create a page folder. Create home.jsx. Write RFCE. Save this and import this. Now let's run our app. As you can see, I can see the home page. Let's now create different pages or the component in pages folder. Let's import all the component that we have just created. Give path next home. Give path about and import about component. Let's remove this. Remove this as well. Save this. Let's navigate our about page. Yes, it's working properly. Now let's create our homepage component. Come in home.jsx. Inside this div, create another div with a class name text box. Inside this, copy paste this text. I have added some random text. If you want to copy, you can. Now here inside this div, create another div with a class name text image. Now include an image. I have already imported the image here. You just have to make sure that you have included all your image in the public folder. I have included all the images in my public folder, so you have to also do the same. Now here we are using image 2. Just after text box div, create another div with a class name full image. Inside this div, we will be having our main image, image 1. Now let's see our result. As you can see, I am able to see my content. Now let's style it. Let's give margin and make our text box and text image horizontally aligned. Come here and write empty-28. This add a top margin of 7 mm, 112 pixels, as you can see here. Now inside this div, create a div and wrap your text box and text image inside it. Now right here, flex, justify, center, gap, -5. We are giving the space of 20 pixels between text box and text image. Now right flex, wrap, reverse. This class allows the flex item to wrap when the container's width isn't sufficient. So we are using flexbox to horizontally align text box and text image. Now come here and write basis. Here we are specifying the width of 320 pixels. Copy this and paste it here as well. Now let's see our result. As you can see, we have successfully aligned our text box and text image horizontally. Now let's style text box and text image, also add some background color. Now come in app.css, remove this and write margin 0, padding 0, box sizing border box. Let's import our font and our colors. Definitely we are not going to use all the colors and all the fonts, but you can see the name Passion, Poppins and Roboto. If you want this code, I have provided the link in the description. You can visit my profile and copy from there. Now let's add background color, right body. We are using our custom background color. As you can see here, we are using this color, this gradient color. Now add a color white, copy paste this font. Now write overflow x hidden. Now write text box, position relative. Now style our paragraph. Add a color. Font size 11 pixels. Now copy paste this code. Just change the font. Write Poppins. Now copy this code. Now write H1. Font size 40 pixels. Background var stylish gradient background color. Write background clip text. Now write web kit text dash filler color. Now write here transparent. Now let's start our h2 tag. Write font size 40 pixels. Also add line height 1. Copy this and paste it here as well. Now let's style our text image. Right position absolute. Bottom auto. Left 0. Z index 2. Width 450 pixels. Now right here img. Now we are styling image tag. Remove this and write width 100%, height also 100%, and object fit cover. Right full image. Now let's style full image. Weight 100%. Object fit. Object fit. Cover. Height 100%. Now let's style our p tag. Right font size 14 pixels or right 12 pixels. Now come here and copy this code and paste it here. Just change the font name, right? So Borto. It's full image img. Now right here button, right cursor pointer. Now let's see our result. As you can see, we have successfully built our home page. We also have to add a button here. So let's create it. Before we go further, let me introduce what is React component. A component in React to break the UI into smaller and reusable pieces. This makes the code easier to understand and manage. Instead of writing the same code again and again in many places, you can create a component once and use it wherever needed. Let's now create our button component. Come here and write a folder components. Inside the components, create button.jsx. Now write rfce. Now let's define the button function. It takes in a set of props. Let's break down one by one. First, let me write the props name. Children. Now this children prop refer to the content you want to place inside the button, such as text or the icon. You can import any tag you want. Now the class name. We have provided the class name prop. This allows you to pass additional CSS classes to the button. Notice we have provided a default empty string here. If no class is passed, it will just use the default styles. The type prop. This prop defined the button type. The default is button, but you could change it to submit depending on your use case. The role prop helps with the accessibility by defining the element's role as a button. Although it is not always necessary for a button tag, it can be useful when you want to enhance the accessibility. The value prop. This is the value that will be displayed on the button if you don't pass any children. We set it to an empty string by default. On click. This is a function that will be triggered when the button is clicked. Now let me explain the difference between the children and the value prop. In the value prop, we can just simply import our button component and we can simply just pass value and it will display whatever we write here. In this case, I have written click me. But in the children prop, you can import any tag. Like I have imported span tag, and inside I have imported an icon. Now let me just remove this. Now instead of this div here, we will write button. Now we will pass our props here. Write type equals to type. Now write class name equals to write button dash 50. I haven't imported this class yet, but we will use this class later on. Now write class name role equals to role on click equals to on click. Now inside the button tag, import value or children. Now save this. Now let's import this button component in our home.jsx. Come here. After this text image div, write div and import button. Now pass value equals to download resume and write on click equals to handle download. We haven't created this function yet. Now let's just create this function. Now right here const link equals to document dot create element, and we are creating a tag. Now right here link dot href. Now here you can pass your path where your resume is stored. In my case, I have the image in my public folder. Right now I don't have any resume, so I'm just providing random image. Now right here link dot download Now here write resume file. When you click on this button, it will show your image as a resume file. It will show the name resume file. That is why we are writing this. Now write here document.body append child equals to link. Now write here link.click. Finally write document.body.remove child link. We also want to show our typing effect. As we have already installed our package, now just write text equals to used type writer. Now write words equals colon. Now write your name or any name you want to show as a typing effect. Now write loop equals to false. Now write delay speed 1500. Now write type speed 200. Delete speed 150. Now also import this use typewriter from React simple typewriter. Now just copy this text and h2 tag, write curly bracket and write text. Now let's see our result. Also save this. As you can see, it's working. Also right here the margin top 4. We have to style our download button. Before that, let's just arrange this button position. Now right here class name sm margin top 8 m. In this case we write 32 and right here margin 24. What we are saying here is that above the smaller screen, which means that above 64 pixel, we want to give margin 32 8 rem, and below the smaller and the extra smaller screen we want to give margin top 6 rem. Let me explain this. Here, as you can see, I have provided margin top 2 rem, 0.5 rem, margin top 2 0.5 rem, and here we are providing margin top 24 6 rem. So this is above the smaller screen. As you can see here, this is above the smaller screen. For smaller and the extra smaller screen, we have provided margin top 24 6 rem. I think it's clear now. As you can see here, we have arranged this button position. Now we have to style it. So come in Google Chrome and write CSS button. Copy this button. Now create styles. Inside the styles, write button dot css. Just copy paste this code. Now come in button.jsx component and import here styles button.css. Save this. Now let's see our result. As you can see, it's working properly, but we have to customize it. Well, I have customized this button, but if you want to copy paste this code, you can visit my GitHub profile. The link is in the description. I have also included button dash box and provided position relative. Now let's see our result. Close this. As you can see, we have successfully built our home page. Now let's create base container box component. Right here RFCE. Now here we will give a prop name called children. Now right here container box. Inside write children. Copy this class name and come in app.css. Now right here max width 1200 pixels, margin 0 and auto, and width 90%. Now import this component in home.jsx. come here and import this base container box. So what we have done is that although our content is in the center because of the flex box, the image and the text, but when we will be creating our next home page, about page later on, we want that component or that pages to also be in the center. That is why we have created the base container component. Now let's see our button is working or not. It's not working. Yeah, I have not written the on click correctly. Just it is there is a capital letter. Now save this. Now click here. As you can see, it's working. Now let's create navbar component. Come here and write navbar.jsx. Write rfce. Well, I have imported the icons and the nav link. I just want to show you one thing. I have copy pasted this code. First, let's see the result. Save this. As you can see, our icons is showing properly, but there is a catch. Although this code is correct, but we are using React, so we have to be efficient. So what we can do is that we can create an array of objects in which we can store the path, icons and the label if we want. So let me show you how. Write navlinks now write path slash, now in icon import your icon, and write label home. Copy paste 4 times. Now let's just change here about on next home. About projects and contact. Change the icon right here. Where I have already installed the package, it's coming from React icon, so you can import any icon you want. So I have already imported. I just want to save the time, that is why. Now write group project roadmap and import this icon. Now give the path next home, about projects, a project contact. Now what we can do is that we can map over this array is that we can map over this array right here. Nav inside this nav create ul, give the class name ul links, and here write navlinks dot map and write return give the prop link and index. Now import here li. Inside this li import navlink, right here 2 equals to link dot path and in li give the index key equals to index, right here exact. Now write class name and write here text gray 300 over text white. Now right here is active. Now right here div, give the class name, use backticks. Now right here box flex justify center, item center, gap 0.5 mm, text space, and right here is active. If is active is true, add box active in string. Otherwise add no class. Inside this import link icon and span tag import label. So here what we have done is that is active is a special property that navlink provides. It automatically detects if the link path matches the current URL. If the path matches is active is true, otherwise it is false. This property gives us an easy way to apply conditional styling for our active links. Now we have added a div and we have defined the class name box flex justify center item center and so on. These classes handle the alignment and the spacing. Then finally we add a conditional class called the box active. Only when is active is true. So if this thing is currently active, it will get an extra class that you can customize in CSS. In our case, we will add a background color. Then finally we display our icons and the label and span tag. Now let's style our nav bar. Come in app.css. Right nav bar. Right here. Right here. Fixed. Right 0. Right here. Position fixed. Right 0 pixel. Top 0. Height 100 VH. Display flex. Z index 6. Flex direction column. Align item center. Min width equals to 10%. Transform. Translate 0% for just for now. Now right here transition all 0.5 seconds is in. Opacity equals to 0.8. Background black. Now right here UL dash links. This style none. Padding 0. Now right here padding 20 pixels. Now right here nav bar. Right UL dash links. Now right here box dash active. Now add a background color. Now right here color white. Come in nav bar. Let's see our result. Yeah, we forget to style our box, so come here and write box. Now right here background linear gradient 90-degree. Write RGBA 25 25 27 and opacity 1. Give another color. Now add a padding 10 pixel. and 10 pixel. Save this. Now let's see our result. Save this. See our result. Yeah, we forget to add a class right here, Navbar. Now save this. We forget to add a property in app.css. So come in app.css file and add a property name called justify content center. Save this file. Yeah, it's working. As you can see, the background color is also adding because of is active. Now let's add our icon logic. First we have to create our states. Right here is true, set true equals to use state true, change here and right here toggle, set toggle false, and right here is move, set move right true. Now right here div with a class name of relative, now we will add our class based on a condition. First let's tie our classes, then we will define the logic. Now come here and right here dot move now, transform translate x, right 88%, transition or 0.5 seconds, ease in, font size 1.5 m, margin 10 pixel, and 4 m, at that index 34, position fixed, right 8 am, top 0. Now right here move item, transform translate 86%, transition, copy paste this. Now come in navbar, we have to adjust this to 100, not 0. Now come in navbar, We will add our icons logic first, then we will move the navbar according to it. Right here, div and give the class name is move. If is move is true, add move now class and move item class. Also add z index. If is move is false, add move now only. Now we will add a logic. If toggle is true, right here button, give class name nav toggle, import the icon from React icons. Let's just import first. Import f bars comma f times from React icons. Now come here, create a button, give the class name cross -ptn and copy paste this icon. Here we will create our function as well. So first let's create a function called cross link. In this function, the set true will be false and set move will also be false, and finally the set toggle will be not equals to toggle. So in short, it is the logic for closing the closing the navbar. Now we will create a function for open link to open the navbar. So we just have to change the name, function name, open link, and set to will be true and set move will also be true. Then on click equals to open link on click equals to close link. Right now we have just added our icons logic. Our navbar won't move. In order to move our navbar, we have to add a navbar class based on a condition. So right here, is true. If is true, then we will add a class navbar and show toggle. If it's false, then we will add just navbar. We also have to add show toggle in our app.css. Right here, transform translate x 0% and make sure you adjust this to 100%. Save this. Save this as well. As you can see, it's working properly, and we can also navigate to next home page and about page. Our background is also adding. Now let's make our navbar responsive. Come in app.css and right here max width 1000 pixels. Now write navbar width 100 viewport and dot move now right equals to 0. Now let's create our next home page. Then we will be creating our animation with frame motion. Create next home .jsx. Oh, we already have created, sorry. We already have created. We have to just drag this into the pages folder. Let's import few things. First, we will import our images. Now let's import button component. And import base container box. Write base container box here. Now add a div with a margin top. Now write here bg dash image and import your image here. Import image 2. After this div, write flex, justify center, gap 1.25 rem, flex wrap reverse, margin top 6 rem. Now inside this div, add another div with a class name of text box. Give basis. Give basis 80. margin top 4 em. Now right here flex, justify, self, start, item, dash center, gap, dash 5. Now here write h2 tag and write David Hansen. Also import an icon. Right. From React icons slash io. Give class name bg dash salt 50, text black, and text to XL. Font size, we are giving font size 1.5 em. Now after this div, write h1 tag, write web developer, now write paragraph, it is p tag. After the paragraph, import button, and give a value name download resume. After this div, write a class name full image and also give basis. Basis is a width. Now let's import our image. Image 1. Save this. Now let's see our result. Yeah, in app.jsx we have given the wrong path, so we have to correct it. Save this. Yeah, it's working. Now let's try our next home page. Come in app.css. Now right here bg dash image img, right position absolute, top 0, right 155 pixels, height 100 vh, width 30%, z index -1. We also have to make it responsive, so come in media query and write text image left auto, right text box and write fax basis 100% and write important. Importance mean that no matter whatever we are using in our css, we have to use this style at this certain width. Now write bg image img equals to display none. We don't want to show this background. We don't want to show this background image in extra smaller and smaller screen, so that is why we are using display none. Now write another media query. This time it is 768 pixels and write text image with 300 pixels, margin 0 and auto, text box h2, font size 35 pixels. For h1 write 30 pixels. Save this. Now let's check our result. As you can see, it works as expected. Now let's create our transition page. Come back in the component folder and create a file, transition page.jsx. Now write rfce. Now write og component. Now remove this div. Now write like this. Now here we will import our OG component. This OG component represents the original component you want to wrap with the transition effect. For example, this pattern allows transition page to accept any component like home page, about page or next home page as an argument. For example, if you don't write OG component, it won't take any argument and it won't work. So it is necessary that you must include this OG component. Now in order to work with frame motion, you have to include motion from frame motion. Now write motion dot div. Here we will give our class, write slide in. Now write initial. Now write here scale y 0. This initial property defines the starting state when the component enters the page. In this case, scale y 0 means that the component start at 0 height. Now write animate. Now write here scale y 0. This set the animation target, which is also scale y. This type frame motion to keep it hidden on the entry side. Now write here exit. Now write scale y 1. When the component is about to leave, we scale it back up with the scale 1, so it looks like page is sliding in. Now finally give the transition. Right here duration 1 is 0.221 comma 0.36. Now finally write 1. Now copy this, paste it here. Just change the class name, slide out. Here scale y initial it is 1 now, and in exit it is 0. Save this. Now come in app.jsx. Remove this browser router. And import this browser router in main.jsx. Write as router. Save this. Now come in app.jsx. Now let's create a component called animated route.jsx. Right here RFCE. Now copy this and paste it here. Now import animated presence from Motion. Now right here mode equals to weight. Save this. Now import animated route in app.jsx. Remove all this. Remove this as well. Save this and import home import about project contact and NextHome. Just change the name. And finally contact. Save this. Save this as well. Now let's see our result. It's working or not. Let's see our result. It's working or not. Now let's see our result. Let's see our result. Now come in animated route, import routes and route. Save this. Now let's check it's working or not. Yeah, we forget to give our CSS class, so let's style it. Now right here slide dash in. Let me just check the name. Yeah, it's slide dash in. Now right here position fixed. Width 100%. Height 100%. top 0, left 0, background color black, transform origin bottom, z index 5. Copy paste this class, just change the name slide out, and instead of bottom here we will write top. Come in animated route, right here const location equals to use location. Now right here location equals to location, and give the key location dot path name. Now come in home.jsx, import here transition page, import like this. Also import NextHome right transition page. Save this. It is giving error, so let's just check our transition page. Here it's not curly bracket, it's round bracket. Sorry, my fault. Save this. I hope it will work properly now. Yeah, as you can see here. Now import transition page in all of the pages. Import in about as well. Save this. Same for project and contact. Now let's see our result. Now let's create our about page. Now let's import base container box. Inside this, write margin top to rem. Create another div. Give a class name flex. Justify center gap 2.5 rem flex wrap. Inside this div, give a class name full image. Now style it externally. Write flex basis 28 rem. Also import the image. After this div, create text box, give basis, two slash 5, which means 40%. Write h2 tag, now write div, give the class name flex, justify, self center, start, item center, and gap 5, mean 1.25 m. Now import the icon. We can copy paste from next home.jsx. Just copy this and import it here. Also its path. Now after this, write h1 tag. Now come in home.jsx, import this and paste this in about.jsx. Now add here front end, backend, full stack, save this, and in h1 tag write text. Now after this div, write relative, and inside this create another div, let me explain one thing. Let me just copy paste this code. As you can see, this code is not efficient, although this code will work properly, but we can use better approach. We can create array of object and iterate over each object. Right here const skills equals to array. Inside this array create an object, write title, front end, languages, or you can copy paste this if you want, but in my case I am just going with front end languages. Now after this write items, now write array, inside this array now write icon, equals to html percentage unmade title html color. Well, I have written the code. If you want this code, you can visit my GitHub profile. Or if you are completely beginner, so I would suggest you to write by your own. Now, let's just remove this code. Now, right here, skills.map, and right here skill index, right background dash element, also right margin bottom 1 rem, add a key, right index. Now write about dot stats name, margin bottom 0.5 rem, and write text to excel. This is for the font size. Now here import the title, skill.title. Now create another div called progress bars. Inside this we will map over items now. Give a prop item, write idx. Here we will create a component. So right here progress bar, we have to create this component. So let's just create a component first. Come in component folder and write progress bar.jsx. Right here rfce. Come in about.jsx, import this. Now write key equals to index or idx, icon equals to item dot icon, title equals to item dot title, same with color. Save this. Now come in progressbar.jsx. First of all, we have to import the icon. Also import Tailwind icon and import Redux icon. Now write const icon map equals to right here HTML colon and write the icon name. Same with CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, React, GitHub for Tailwind CSS, and finally for the Redux. Title, icon, percentage, color, give a class name, progress dash bar, write flex, justify, start, gap, 1, item center, text, small, 14 pixel. Now right here h3 tag, give a class name, prolong dash title, give external style, color colon color, font size for 18 pixel, site h3 tag, right, icon map, icon, span tag, right, title. After this div, right, now inside this div, write p tag, give a class name, prong dash text. Now write percentage finally in progress div write a spend tag, write a class name. Now use backticks, write icon, right here width colon. Now write percentage background color, save this. Now come in app.css, copy paste this code. You can copy this code from my GitHub profile. It is pure CSS and it's very easy to understand. So I don't think I have to explain this as well. Save this, save this as well, and come in about.jsx. Now let's see our result. Also import use typewriter. Come in home.jsx, copy this and paste it in about.jsx. Now save this file, save progress bar as well as app.css. Just check the classes that we have added correctly. Save this. Now let's see our result. As you can see, it's working as expected. We just have to add a Tailwind icon and just have to change its color. It should be black. So right here 6 times. Save this and come in progress bar.jsx, and it should be only Tailwind, not Tailwind CSS. Save this as well. Well, I have made some necessary changes in this and have added a extra class progress.redux and progress.github. As you can see, it's working as expected. Let's do one thing. Create a file in src folder. Create data.jsx. Now copy this code and paste it here. Right here, export. Save this file. Now import this file in about.jsx. Name should be same. Now let's check it's working or not. Now we will be creating our project.jsx. Navigate to the project page. In the project page, we will have two main components. The first one is the menu item where we will display our data. Next, we will create category btn which will contain the buttons that allow us to filter the data based on a condition. Let's start by creating our data first. Where I have written the code. If you want to copy paste this code, you can visit my GitHub profile and copy from there. Now copy this code and paste in data.jsx. Right, export, save this. Also import images. Now we have to adjust the path. Save this. Navigate to project.jsx. Remove this icon. Now import here project data from data file. Now let's create our states. Right, menu item, set menu item. Now here we will give the path project data. Now import base container box. And we have to create our menu item component. So come in src folder, create a folder menu item, or you can just write menu. Now inside the menu folder, write menu item .jsx, write rfce. Now come here, import menu item.jsx in project.jsx. Write menu item. Now create a div and give the class name. Background gradient color. You can pass menu item. No, right here menu item. Now write menu item dot map. Write return. First, let me write the code, then I will explain each and everything. The data we have just created in our data.jsx, this data is being mapped over each object so that we can access property like title, image, description and more. In our project.jsx, we are storing this data in our use state, and we are passing our menu item as a prop, and in our menu item component we render this data. Inside the menu item, I have used Tailwind CSS classes like for larger and extra larger screens. I want my image and my text content should be horizontally aligned, and for smaller and extra smaller screens I want my text image and text content should come in vertical position. Now let's see our result first. As you can see, when I hover over the text, its color changes to blue. By default it is white. If you want your row should be changed to blue as well, just come in menu item component, copy this, just paste it in H4, save this. As you can see, it's working. If now let's add some detail here. If you don't want, you can skip this part. I have added the detail property. Now come in menu item component and write here p tag and write item dot detail. Let's just style it first. Now write here font weight, bold, and write margin top 12 pixels. Save this. Now as you can see, it's looking more attractive now. Now let's create our category button. Come in project.jsx. Now create a file in menu folder, category button. .jsx. Save this. This project data is an array of objects which we have defined earlier. It contains our title, image, description and more. So now here we are using map to create a new array by transforming each item in project data. In this case we are mapping over each item and extracting its category property. So let's come in data.jsx. As you can see here, it's our category name HTML and CSS. For second object we have defined different category. So it might look like this. But suppose you have multiple objects with same category name, so it might look like this. I'm just giving a random example. So it might look like this. In order to avoid this, we use set method. This set method avoid duplicates and get only the unique values. Here I have defined all because I want to show all the items whenever user click on the all button. So now let's create a function. Remove this. Right, filter item. Now right here category as a prop. Now write if condition. If category equals to all, we want to show all the items. Show all the items. Else I want to show the item based on the category name. So here we will use filter. And right here item dot category equals to category. Now write set menu item new fare. Sorry, it's filter. So here what we have done is that if user click on all button option, I want to show all the items. Otherwise just show the item based on the category. Let's create a new use state and write categories set categories, and here we will pass categories all. Come here and write filter item equals to pass the name and now pass categories equals to categories. Now in category button or category btn, import the props categories and filter item and import your button component. Now right here categories dot map, write category and write index. Import it here inside the return. Now pass class name, margin bottom 5, pass the index key equals to index, and now passed right on click, use arrow function and write here filter item and pass the category. Write value equals to category. Save this. It's category dot categories. Write category. Save this file. Save project.jsx file as well. Now see the result. It's working. Now let's style these buttons. Create a div here and give the class flex and give the class name flex. Justify center item center flex wrap. Give the width min dash width text 64. Right padding left and right give 5. It's mean 1.25 m. And also write margin bottom 6. Copy this category btn and save inside this div. Save this file. As you can see, it is now in center. Let's also style our background gradient color. Copy the class name. Come in app.css and write background. Write linear gradient to right. Now give the color. And also right here important. Now give the padding 3 RAM and 1.25 RAM. 1.5 RAM. It's mean left and right, and 1.25 RAM it's top and bottom. Save this app.css file. Now see the result. As you can see, it's now looking attractive. Also give margin top from here. Now it's look good. Now let's create our contact page. Come in contact.jsx. For contact page we will be using Tailwind blog. So let's navigate to the Tailwind blog website. And choose this one, where you can choose any and copy paste the code. Copy this and paste it here. Select this and right click. You have to install this extension HTML to JSX first, then it will work. Now right here base container box. Save this. As if you want the same result like this, you can visit my GitHub profile. Link is in the description. Now click on src folder, click on pages, and click on contact.jsx, copy paste this. Let's remove project.css, save this. Let's correct the path. Save this. As you can see, also give margin top. Here we also have to give margin top. Right here, margin top dash 8. It's mean 2m. Or give more. Now it's looking good. Now let's create our lazy image component. Come in components folder and write lazy image.jsx. I have copy pasted this code. Now let me explain how it's working. The lazy image function accepts 5 props: src, alt, hash, width and height. I will explain hash in a second. Then we are using useState hook to create a state variable called imageLoaded. This variable tracks whether the image has finished loading. By default, it is set to false since the image hasn't loaded initially. Then inside the useEffect hook, we create a new image object to preload the image. An onload event handler is added to the image object, which sets image loaded to true. Then the src prop is assigned to the image object, initiating the preloading process. Then in the dependency array, we have written src, which means that if the src path changes, it will re-render or it will rerun. And in the return, we have defined a logic that if image loaded is false, then we have to create or we have to generate the image with height, width and hash. If image loaded is true, then we display our image in a picture element tag. As we have created our lazy image component, now use this component in our all the pages that we have already created. Let's start with home.jsx. Come here and write lazy image, write src and give the path. Now you have to pass hash. This hash will be generated. So let's navigate to the website, bearer hash, scroll down and you have to upload the image you want to hash or you want to show the bearer effect. In my case it is group 5. So you have to copy paste this hash here. Same with second image. Now pass hash. Copy this and paste it here. Now let's see our result. It's working. Well, you have to follow this process for all the images. In whichever component you have an image, just add a correct path in the SRC attribute and then add a hash by uploading an image in the hash website. I have made the changes, but in project.jsx you have to manually add hash, like in menu item you have to write lazy image and you have to write hash item dot hash. We also have to add a hash property in our data.jsx. Here you have to write hash where I have added hash. Now let's check it's working or not. Save this. Now let's see our result first. It's working properly. Now let's improve our website performance. Let's navigate to the animated route component. What we have done in our animated route component is that we are enhancing our performance and user experience by utilizing the lazy and suspense from React. Lazy loading ensures that only the necessary components are loaded when needed, reducing the initial load time of the application. However, the suspense provide a fallback UI displaying the loading indicator while the components are being fetched asynchronously. Now let's see our result first. As you can see, the loading effect was showing. Now let's finally deploy our project on Netlify. Right here, cd, and drag this folder and paste it here. Now write npm run build. Now let's navigate to the Netlify website. Click here, add a new site. Click on deploy manually. Click here and choose dist. Upload this only. As, as you can see, we have successfully deployed our website.